Hi everybody, my name is Drew Hefty. I want to welcome you to my kitchen. I'm really excited that you're here. Here's my name. Excited that you're here watching this video. We're going to make ice cream today. Kind of the idea behind this video is that we would take the time to first, students have thrown together ideas of ice cream. So we had a competition on Friday, and we'll be doing this competition each week. And at the end of the video, I'll explain how you can get involved in next week's competition to decide what gets made today in our kitchen. I'm home, and this is our home kitchen. And it's nothing special, but it's home. And that's what I want you to feel today, is that you're home and that you feel welcome. I think a really big thing about cooking is the fact that you cook for the people you love. This contest that we did was designed where the student who won, and maybe you get involved and you win next week, would get the ice cream that gets made. And it's a little sign of hospitality from the Hefties to you. I want to explain a little bit of what's going on. So we're going to actually look at the list of ingredients here. Here is a little video, or here's a little picture of what our kind of page looks like, what maybe you're looking at right now. But I want you to notice here, as we kind of scroll down, we're going to take a look. Right here in the description is actually what we are making today. If you are interested in engaging and wanting to learn how to make Juelz Give Me Some More Ice Cream, this is the ingredient list. With the whole pandemic that's going on, dry milk powder is very hard to find. I did not find any, so we're going to make this recipe without dry milk powder. In this recipe, it has sugar, dry milk powder, xanthan gum, cinnamon, corn syrup, milk, heavy whipping cream, Hershey chocolate bars, Marshmallow Fluff, shortbread cookies, butter, and Reese's peanut butter cups. The base for this recipe was actually found in the Salt and Straw cookbook. Salt and Straw is one of my favorite ice cream restaurant places to go. They have a cookbook. And so the dry milk powder, xanthan gum, sugar, milk, corn syrup, heavy whipping cream is their kind of base, and it's a fantastic base. I definitely recommend getting that cookbook. But let's come back to our kitchen here. We're gonna just hop on back. And so let me get you back here. What I want to do before we get started, I'm gonna actually move the camera into the kitchen here, and I'm gonna wash my hands. But I'm actually gonna put Julius, who invented this, Julius Macias, up on the screen for you here. Just give me a hot second. And he can tell you all about his ice cream ideas. So all right, well, thanks, Juelz. I really appreciate that. So here we are, we're at my cutting board. And I'm just excited to kind of share with you guys just all the goodness that's going to be happening here. First step, because I'm making this for somebody else, I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'm going to put on these gloves. Let's see, is anyone engaging in the chat? Do we have anyone in the chat? Feel free to hop in. I don't know if I'm in the chat, but would love to engage with you. So, it's washing hands. You're supposed to do it for 20 seconds. If anything comes out of this video, it's how to wash your hands. Man, I'm getting a text message or a phone call. This is not good. I'm gonna check that real quick. It's Kenny Kibble. Kenny, I'm on my cooking show. Alright. Hold on, I'm so sorry. We're gonna have a surprise visit with Kenny Kibble. Okay, don't want to waste the water. Alright. So here we are. Let me say hi to Kenny. I'm going to finish washing my hands.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah. You're live on the air, on speaker.
You're on there?
Yes, I'm on the YouTube. So you're here on the camera. Everyone's listening to you. Say hello. Okay. I guess you're not talking more. All right. Well, Kenny, I will talk to you later. That's my boss. All right. So, first step in this process, what we're going to do is we're actually going to melt the chocolate. And melting the chocolate is important because that's our hottest ingredient. And when making ice cream, you want things to be cold. So, I'm going to put together our chocolate. So what you need to be doing is we're going to take this pan here. I'm going to bring it to a boil because we're using a double boiler. Now a double boiler is basically you boil a pot like this. So we're going to bring it over here. Just like that. You're going to do a double boiler. So we're going to turn this on high. And we're going to throw this right on top. Okay. So what's going to happen in that is I'm going to take some chocolate bars, just like this, and we are going to melt that without causing the pan to burn. Because what it does is the boiling water will heat the bottom of the pot. So I'm just going to throw in this. Now we are using Hershey's chocolate because you really can't have a s'more without Hershey's chocolate. And so I use 2 bars to make this right here. And once it gets up to heat, it's going to go really, really, really fast. So, we're going to do that. Now, I'm going to take the sugar here, and I am going to add a 4th cup of sugar, because you really can't have ice cream without a healthy dose of sugar. And then to help make the creaminess possible, I'm actually going to have 3 tablespoons of milk. Alright, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Okay, we're going to need this later. So let's see the action unfold in here. See if we can get you in there. Alright. So if you can see in here. Okay, you can see the heat's on. We're just going to grab a utensil here. And as it's going to start to melt, you can see back here, there's a little bit of chocolate already melting as it's going to get hot. So we're going to let that get started here. In the meantime, we're actually going to get started with our base over here. So we're going to shoot over here. Now to make a really good base, you are going to need a 1/2 cup of sugar right here. So we're going to take a 1/2 cup of sugar just like this. And I'm going to take this thing called Xanthan Gum. This is Xanthan Gum. Xanthan Gum, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Basically, the gist of Xanthan Gum is it's a thickener. It's often used as an egg substitute, and it makes the ice cream last a little longer. And we're going to do just a 1/4 tablespoon of that. Very, very little, because we don't need a lot of it. I think a 1/4 makes up an egg. if not an eighth makes up an egg. So it's really very, very good for making ice cream because you're dealing with a lot of raw ingredients. Now, we're also going to use corn syrup, which I have right here. And the reason we do corn syrup, and we're going to pour it straight into here, we use corn syrup because it is a good thickener. I really personally believe that ice cream should be nice and thick. That's why even the milk powder is good because it actually adds more of a density to it. So we're going to throw that in there. And then we're actually going to get some milk, and we're going to put 1 1/3 cup milk into this. Man, this is a lot. Oh, we have melting stuff going on over there. This is way more intense than just making regular ice cream. But this is 1 1/3 cups of milk. We're going to get this on low heat so that we can mix this all together, whisk it together. This corn syrup is very sticky. It's actually my favorite ingredient to make fake blood. You take a little bit of water, you take some corn syrup, take some red food coloring, you got fake blood. I would often, in my younger days as an intern, I would go make a bloody mess. Anyway, as you're whisking that and it's kind of coming together, you're going to pour in your dry ingredients right here, and you're going to whisk that together until it is all mixed together. So we're going to get that all going here. In the meantime, we're letting this melt, and we're going to actually throw in the cinnamon as well. And I got to remember what the cinnamon is. It's 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. So we're not going to use very much, but we are going to just a dash of cinnamon. I got to find our cinnamon here. Curry powder, that's probably not going to work. Allspice, maybe. Cinnamon. Pumpkin spice. Oh, here we go. Cinnamon. So we're just going to put in just a little bit of cinnamon. That's probably too much cinnamon. Sorry, Juelz. Yeah, that's a lot. That's too much cinnamon. Okay, now we're going to kind of mix this. You can see, we come back in here, it's really kind of melted down a lot. And it's getting that nice chocolatey color. You know, there's a really great prank that you can do right now where you kind of you can take this meltdown concoction and just run over to the bathroom and summon a sibling or a parent for some toilet paper, and, well, you know, if you touch them with this, they're going to freak. You're going to laugh. It's going to be a good time. So far you've not learned how to make ice cream, but you've learned how to prank siblings, and you've learned how to make fake blood. Alright, I think that's pretty good. You can actually smell the cinnamon. If you were here, I wish there was a smell feature on this, like soaring over the kitchen. It would be great. I'm all about smells. Smells are fantastic. Unless they're bad smells, they're not as fantastic. Okay. Alright. The stream should be healthy. Should be good. I think you guys are all here. I think I found the problem is there's this big TV that I just can't have on. Okay, so we're going to get back to here. Threw that in there. Got that done. Let's see if you guys can see the cutting board. I think you can. Let's make sure this is all working. Alright, so we took this. We're going to take our butter here that's all melted. We're going to throw it right in here. And then we're going to shake that up, and then we're going to add, I believe it's just a little bit of sugar. So let me double check that on the recipe here. It is 1/4 cup of sugar. Alright, we're going to do 1 more 1/4 cup of sugar. Come right over here to our sugar. And open that up. Throw this in here. Okay, so now we're going to mix this up really, really well. Okay. Okay, you want to get as much of this mix together as you can see here. Look at this, it's just getting all nice and purple, getting that nice color in there. You want to just get all that crust together. And the reason you want to get this crust, oh, it smells so good, Julius. You're going to be so happy. Alright, now the last part to this is we're actually going to take this right here. And we are going to crush these up into eighths. So I've got 4 here to do. And then we're going to throw them straight into that bag, get it all nice and crusted up, and then we're going to throw it into the ice cream. And we're actually going to turn the ice cream machine on and get it rolling. And in the meantime, what we'll actually be doing is then making some marshmallow fluff, marshmallow cream, and then after that will be a devotion time. And I'm really excited about the devotion time because I think that when we look at God and we look at Jesus' interactions here on earth, a lot of it is over food. And so I think food is really one of those things that kind of makes the world go round. It's what connects us as humans. It's something that, you can either live, as Zach would say, you can either eat to live or you can live to eat. And I think you can tell between the two of us who eats to live and who lives to eat. But I think that it's just such a universal thing culturally to enjoy eating, to fellowship and engage and share in hospitality over eating. And that's why I want to share these things with you, because when we talk about eating, when we talk about enjoying life, it's really important to see that eating is so key in how we engage with one another. So we're going to put this together. We're mixing it up. Okay. So now I'm just going to take these pieces out. They're all just nice and covered. They're covered up, and oh, they look so good. And they're just going to get thrown right into the ice cream. Oh man, we are definitely having some lag, which is not good. So I need to figure out what is causing the lag these days. So I'm gonna take these gloves off real quick and check this out. So let me exit this. Okay, there we go. Maybe that will improve our stream health. Let's see, I have one more set of gloves I put down. Okay. So, getting the rest of these out. There we go. Okay, that looks about right. Okay. What we're going to do is now take out the base that was made earlier. We're going to actually just throw this right in there, mix it up, and we will have some deliciousness here. So we're just going to kind of throw this all in right here. Okay, just get those chunks all put in there. And then we're going to whisk it together. We're going to use this old chocolatey whisk over here. Get all those kind of complex flavors all mixed in. And then we're going to throw it in the ice cream machine. So over here is our ice cream machine. So let me get this all set up for us. So if you see here, over in this corner, is our ice cream machine. Okay. So here's our ice cream machine over here. We're going to take this out right here. This is a frozen bowl. You could alternatively use a different source like a bag, and fill it up with your mix, and then put ice in a separate bag, put your first bag in a separate bag, put some salt in the second bag, shake it up for like 20-30 minutes, and it should come out. You want to get like a frosty consistency, like a Wendy's Frosties consistency. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to put the lid on. Okay. We are just going to straight dump this right in here. So let me consistency. So in the meantime, I'm going to move this camera to the front. We're going to make the marshmallow cream, and I'm going to share a little bit from the Word of God. This is my house. Welcome to my house. This is all of our little technical stuff over here. That's probably why we're glitching. I need to make this simpler next time. All right, let's check it out. That's where we are. Okay. All right. So, with that in mind, we're just going to quickly, I'm going to take this bowl. I'm going to take some Marshmallow Fluff, as the recipe calls for. It basically, we need to combine Marshmallow Fluff and 3 tablespoons of milk. You could do it in a saucepan, warm it up. I'm going to, just for sake of time and not heating it up, I'm just going to make it the old-fashioned way of not heating it up. So we need, how much Marshmallow Fluff? I think it's like a half cup. Half cup, yep. So our half cup, we got a 4th cup right here. I'm going to wash it off. By the way, don't leave your freezer open like this. Okay. 1, 2. Okay. And then 3 tablespoons. So let me find my little tablespoon around here somewhere. I must have misplaced it, so I'll get another one. Alternatively, it's really close to a 4th cup, so you can kind of have some fun with it, make it really close to that. Okay. It doesn't really matter entirely if it's a 4th cup or if it's 3 tablespoons. It's a little bit thicker with the 3 tablespoons, but in all honesty, your kind of goal is you're creating a sauce that is going to go into the ice cream. So we're just going to quickly, we're going to mix that together. I'm making a massive mess. Probably need a whisk. I'm going to use a whisk. Okay. I'm really making a mess. Please don't tell my wife. We're going to throw it in a saucepan. Call it good. Melt for a second. Check on the ice cream. It's coming together really nice. We can clean up, but first I just want to put on for you a passage that's really spoken to me. We are going to go to, I'm going to share this with you real quick. Actually, I'm going to give you context first in it. Interesting. Hold on. Okay. Give me just a second here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about, in the Bible, how much we actually engage in food. And I think this is a really great passage that we're going to be taking a look at here. It's with Peter and Jesus, and the context of it starts at the Last Supper. We're going to actually be celebrating this week the Last Supper of Jesus, where he and his disciples, they ate, and Jesus used the dinner table to communicate a deep truth about himself. He said, "Take this bread, and eat this in remembrance of me, and drink this wine. This is my blood shed for you. Drink this in remembrance of me. So he has this whole episode, and during this episode of dinner time, as they're eating, there's this call of a betrayer in the group, who is Judas. Now Peter, in his excitement, in his zeal for serving God, jumps at the opportunity and he says, "No way, I would never betray you." And Jesus says, "Oh, Peter, 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 you will deny me 3 times before the rooster crows." And surely the next day, before dawn, before the rooster crowed, Peter denied him 3 times. And on the 3rd time, he realized what he had done, and he wept over what he had done. Now, fast forward, Jesus is crucified. He's been executed, and then he rises again the 3rd day. And he goes and he sees Mary. This is all taking place in John, as we're going to get to. And then he sees his disciples. Now, and during this time, there's a lot of great things that happen, and he leaves. But then he sees his disciples for a 2nd time. And the disciples, they've gone back. They've returned to their trade, which is fishing, a lot of them. And so they're out there, they're fishing. And in a moment that is similar to earlier in the gospel, where there's a stranger that yells, "Hey, throw your nets overboard," Jesus says to them, as a stranger, they don't recognize him right away, "Throw your nets overboard." And when they do, they capture more fish, but this time the net, it doesn't tear. They take the fish and they bring it back and they have breakfast. And again, Jesus is engaging his disciples at breakfast. And then, here in John 21, right after breakfast, it says basically these words. It says, when they had finished eating breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to them, "Feed my lambs." And then a 2nd time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said, "Tend to my sheep." And then he said for a 3rd time, Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was grieved because he'd said for the 3rd time. 3 times he denied him, 3 times Jesus asked him. And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. Truly I say to you, when you were young, you used to dress yourself and whenever you wanted, and when you're old, you will stretch out your hand, and another will dress you and carry you to you where you do not want to go." This said to show by which death he was to glorify God. And after saying this, he said, "Follow me." And why I want to focus in on that is because Jesus tells him to feed his sheep. Out of any context he can use, he uses "feed my sheep." You see, Jesus is the bread of life, and through him flows living water. When we understand it, when it comes down to life and understanding our relationship with God, there is a deep sense of food involved. Now, when he's saying "feed my sheep," this isn't literally go out and feed my sheep, but it's inviting somebody in. Somebody maybe that you don't really know that well, but you kind of know in the workplace, but they really need Jesus. Maybe it's getting on a Zoom chat and talking to somebody over a meal. You see, at the very core of eating with one another is relationship. We go out to eat because we enjoy the connection with people. And my question to you today is are you feeding Jesus' sheep? Are you feeding those that follow him? Are you feeding those that need him? Are you tending to the flock? Are you engaging in community, in relationship, in hospitality? That's something I want you to think about. But let's check out the ice cream. Let's see how it's coming. It's looking really good to a frosty point. In fact, I think I'm going to pull it out right now. So I'm going to get my cartons ready, which are right here. Now here's what I learned from Salt and Straw, is when you're storing ice cream, you don't want to use a plastic container. You don't want to use something that is not, air can't come in, because air is going to help it freeze, so you want it to flow through here. So I'm going to take this cup, and it's really important, and right now our marshmallow cream is looking perfect. And so this is all melted down. This is going to be great. We're going to let that cool down for just a second. Get that burner off. And so what we want to do is we want to keep the ice cream as cold as possible. So this is gonna probably take a little bit longer than I had hoped because it is very hot. So we're actually got some heat on that. We need to cool it down. So I should probably throw it in like an ice bath or something, but I don't have ice. I'm making ice cream and we don't have ice. So we're going to put that right here. Okay. So the ice cream is pretty much ready to go. We're going to put it in this cup. It's going to already have its clumps in there. We're going to layer it with the marshmallow cream. And then we're going to throw it as fast as we can into the freezer. Because the quicker it can go from the positive 20 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 10, the better the quality of ice cream. You typically don't want to have anything hot going into it. I can see the steam coming off of this. This is definitely not good for it. And you don't want to over aerate your ice cream either. So I'm kind of in this tension. I have, as they say, done messed up. But we're gonna go for it. We're gonna see how this goes. So we're gonna turn this off. I'm gonna get out my little spatula over here. The reason you want to get out a spatula that's wooden is because ice cream machines typically have that kind of, they're metallic and they've got that special coating that if you use metal on it, it will rip off and then you're going to poison whoever you're making ice cream for, probably you, and you don't want to do that. So I get to now taste it. I'm going to see how this tastes, Juelz. It's really good. Juelz, you sure you want this? It's really, really good. I'm getting chocolate everywhere. I don't even like chocolate. That's the irony, but it's really good. Oh man. Oh. And I got a little bit of that shortbread. Oh. So really good. Okay. So we're gonna pour just a little bit of cream in at the bottom. Just a little bit here. Just to kind of get it started. It's definitely hot and it's going to melt the ice cream, but you're going to want to get this ice cream in there as fast as possible because, like I said, you do not want this to melt. And you just want to keep layering it, just a little bit here, a little bit there. Now, hopefully, because it is alright, let's see. There we go. Alright. Yes, it definitely, so one thing I'm learning, because I don't ever usually make that mistake, is that the marshmallow cream is actually permeating to the top, so hopefully that will stay mixed in and not just be all the way on the top of the ice cream. So we're going to take this plastic, we put it in here, put the lid on, and you have just made ice cream. And hopefully you don't make the same mistake I did. Now there's enough where I can actually make a second one. So let's pull out a second container right here. Don't worry, I have another one down here. All right. Let's see here. Oh yes, get that ice cream all in there. Juelz, I think I'm going to keep a pint because, well, this was hard to make and it's really good tasting. And I don't think you need that much ice cream because I need it. Alright, ice cream in there. So my wife tells me I have to make this at the church because of all the messes that I make, and I see why. next week when we're making the nachos, which I will tell you about in just a minute as soon as I finish scooping up ice cream here for the full deliciousness. Pour that in there. Huge chunks of just straight marshmallow cream, which is probably going to actually taste really, really good, Juelz. I'm so sorry. Just give me a second here and we'll get all wrapped up here. So here's what the inside is going to look like. Something like this. Oh, Juelz has texted me. That's interesting. What is Juelz saying? We only see scripture. There's a huge lag. Huge scripture. Oh, well, we're probably going to have to try this again another time. I'm so sorry for the difficulty in this, but oh, I know why you only see scripture. I never switched it back. All right, let's see. Give me a second. All right. Okay, so since you may have heard, so I'm going to show you this real quick. This is what the inside of the ice, oh, that was bad. Okay, that's what the inside of the ice cream is going to look like. What we did was we took it from, we used these containers. This is, these are paper containers versus plastic. And we get it covered and we're going to put it in the fridge. And that is going to, what we're going to do, you got these ice cream makers here. And so as you can see, kind of the consistency is going to be more of this like frosty kind. The reason why it's going to be frosty is because the more aerated it is, the less quality and flavor is in it. Okay, so as I get to enjoy the last morsels of this, Juelz, you sure you want this? Let's be honest. It's too good. Okay. Alright, well, the last thing I want to share with you is just our contest for next week. If you are interested in joining us, you can hop onto, you're going to send to me nacho ideas you're going to send it to drew@camcc.net. What we're going to do is you can make any kind of nachos. It could be cheesecake nachos, or I've heard taki nachos, or Philly cheesesteak nachos. Create something, and then on Friday, starting at 6 o'clock, if you go back to this streaming page, or on Facebook, there will be a link to the poll that you can submit your ice cream, not ice cream, because that's what we're doing this week, nacho flavor. And you can submit it to the email. It'll be posted on the poll, and you can vote. And whichever thing gets the most, we'll do again next week. I really thank you for joining me and talking with me about ice cream, about Jesus and his ministry through food. We'll post a picture of how good that ice cream looks in 4 hours, because that's how long you have to let it sit in the freezer for at least 4 hours. And I just thank you for joining me. So take care, God bless, and more than anything, you are welcome in our home. Thank you for having me. Love you guys. Take care.